Tomorrow's game day.
Game day.
Aquaman 2 is coming out, and I don't care what everybody else says. I had a really good time watching the first Aquaman movie. It was a lot of fun. It went on to become the most successful film in the entire DCEU that they've done, and it made over $1 billion at the box office. The only DCEU film to do it. So as long as you still got James Wan coming back, you got my boy JJ Momoa coming back to play Aquaman.
And who else?
Not a lot of people know that. He likes to be referred to as JJ Momoa.
No, he doesn't.
And also the one and only P. Willie.
P. Willie's going to be there. So I don't care what he says. I'm excited to see it. It's coming out tomorrow. Did I mention it's coming out tomorrow? It's coming out tomorrow.
What is?
Aquaman 2.
You're kidding.
I'm seeing it.
With P. Willie and J-Mo.
I thought he'd say something like Madam Web. That wouldn't even be made. So
it is right now, our time, 11:41 a.m., Los Angeles time. I am seeing this thing at 3 p.m., Los Angeles time tomorrow. So about 27 and a half hours away. And the review embargo has not yet lifted, and we're going to talk about that later. What's even more concerning, if you're the folks at Warner Brothers, is the tracking for the opening weekend of Aquaman 2 has been updated. And according to tracking, Aquaman 2 is going to make less in its opening 4-day-long weekend than the biggest bomb in Marvel's history, the Marvels, made in its opening 3-day weekend. This comes from the folks over at Screen Rant who write the following. Aquaman The Lost Kingdom is tracking to have lower opening weekend than Marvel Studios' biggest bomb. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom is the DCEU's final movie. The sequel serves as the follow-up to 2018's Aquaman, which broke expectations to become their highest-grossing film. Now, according to Deadline, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom is on track for a 4-day Christmas opening weekend of around $40 million plus, which is less than the Marvel's $46 million 3-day opening. That is bad news for the DCEU's final movie, as the Marvels had the worst debut for a Marvel Studio film and will end its theatrical run as the lowest grossing MC movie yet, with only $204 million. Hey, it cracked $200 million. Well done, Marvels. According to Box Office Mojo, despite trailers having teased an exciting story for Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, the movie should be another 2023 DCEU box office disappointment. All right. Before anybody starts throwing themselves out of windows, I think it should be important to point out that the first Aquaman movie, while it made over $1 billion at the box office, it didn't exactly have an explosive opening weekend. I mean, I believe, and Ray, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, that the opening weekend for the first Aquaman movie, I believe, was like $67 million, which is way better than 40, yes. But it's not some monstrous huge number. That Aquaman movie when I had, did you see how much it made?
Yeah, you're right. 67.
It was 67. Okay, so $67 million. And it went on to make over $1 billion. Now, in its favor, that first Aquaman movie had a lot of fun, a lot of positive vibes behind it, really good marketing campaign, and all this kind of stuff. But still, even with that caveat, this would represent like a 45% drop from, maybe about a 40% drop from what the opening weekend of the first one was. Now, listen, I expect Aquaman 2 to do better internationally than the Marvels did. So I think at the end of the day, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom will make more money than the Marvels did overall. At least that's what I'm guessing. Guys, we want to take a second to thank the sponsor of today's video, Quip. Good health starts with good habits, and Quip makes forming good dental habits easy by delivering all of the oral care essentials that you need to care for your mouth. I've already told you guys about their incredible toothbrush that is now my favorite toothbrush I've ever owned, and their mints and gum are amazing. But now I want to tell you about their water flosser. It hits all the right spots with gentle or deep cleaning pressure at the touch of a button. And don't worry about recharging. The cordless rechargeable battery lasts up to 8 weeks with daily use, no bulky charger or dock or tangled cords. It blasts away up to 99.9% of plaque and popcorn from treated areas with precision thanks to the 360-degree rotating magnetic floss tip that snaps right into place. It's easy to control water flow that leaves you feeling squeaky clean. And the sleek and slim design, it keeps your countertops as clean as your teeth. So guys, if you go to getquip.com/Campea right now, you'll get 20% off any electric toothbrush, mint and gum dispenser, and water flosser. That's 20% off any any electric toothbrush, mint and gum dispenser, water flosser at getquip.com/Campea. Spelt GETQUIP.com/Campea. Quip, the good habits company. But Rob, when you're the sequel to the biggest hit successful film your franchise has had, and you're going to open lower than the worst performing Marvel film, it's not the note they wanted to go out on. What do you make of this?
John, I'm a little perplexed. I mean, to be honest, you have James Wan, who's a fantastic filmmaker, who's done the entire Conjuring verse for them, which has been wildly successful. Aquaman was wildly successful, coming off of another franchise in a different studio, Furious 7, which also was very successful. Peter Safran, who's running up the new DC universe with James Gunn. I mean, what I find so interesting, I mean, this movie, we've heard it was in trouble at test screenings, rumors, things like that. I mean, how bad has this movie got to be? I mean, they're dumping it. There's been you'd think like the most fun movie of the holiday season, that they would put marketing into this film. I mean, even if we've seen lots of movies in the last 25 years that weren't so good, but they have individual character posters. Right. Where are the character posters up? If there's one thing that these movies have, it's dynamic and fun-looking characters. All the different species, the Black Manta. I mean, you'd think that even if this movie is not what they'd hoped it would be, you'd think that the marketing department would kick in and at least try and goose that opening weekend by delivering something that, fun and wacky for the holiday season. I don't know what they're going to do, but they haven't even tried that. There's been nothing. There's been some trailers and TV spots. Like you said earlier before we went on, people don't even know this movie's coming out.
Yeah, I put up something on the community tab last night that we'll talk about later, but it was revolving around Aquaman, and a lot of people, a lot of you guys watching at home jumped in the community tab.
Hey, look at that picture you just had up.
I didn't even know this movie's coming out this week.
No.
They just did not do a good job with public awareness.
But there's Aquaman on a giant seahorse that we just saw. How is that? That should be on a movie poster.
That should be 20 million opening weekend by itself. Just the seahorse.
I mean, octopus on it too.
Yes. What do you do when you're in an octopus's garden? Well, you take a seahorse, get on that seahorse's back, and take the octopus with you.
And where has the drumming octopus been in the marketing? Missed opportunity, Rob.
I mean, there could have been an entire fun marketing campaign for this film to at least, now I'm never going to get a Black Manta hot toy.
This film was initially supposed to release with Avatar 2 in the same sort of...
it was supposed to originally come
out
a
year ago.
Yeah, a year ago.
Which is great because you don't want a water movie competing against the greatest water movie ever.
Yeah.
It's just a shame. I like James Wan. It just shows you how hard it is to capitalize on a big first movie, especially in the comic book genre. It's very hard to do, obviously. I mean, we haven't seen it yet. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just saying it doesn't look good with those projections.
Yeah.
Sure.
So we'll
John,
see. I'll be there tomorrow. We'll see.
I want to see it too, but the fact that they had to push it a year, getting interest payments back, this movie must have cost an extraordinary amount of money for Warner Brothers. This is not good for the studio.
With all according to the major trades, with all the reshoots they did and by moving that thing a year, they had to remount an entire new marketing campaign. This thing was going to end up being expensive. And again, I want to remind everybody, the first one made in the mid to high 60 in its opening weekend and went on to make $1 billion. I don't have the belief that this movie's as good as the last one. We'll talk about that a little bit later too. Anyway, what do you guys? You think you can crack that $40 million mark opening weekend?
I'm sad.
Apparently a bunch of you guys didn't even know it was opening this week, but go let us know what you guys think. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.